Good morning. I want to talk about the climate. I had no idea this was going on. This is the IPCC. It's an old story, right? But it's IPCC, these top scientists, this council in the United Nations, right? They publish reports on temperatures and stuff, right? So I didn't know. You know what they do? First, they make a draft of the actual report. Before they publish the report, a draft. And they send that draft out to politicians so that politicians can have an opinion on it. Did you know about this? I didn't. So this was a report that said that there was no rise in temperatures from 1998. There was no increase in temperatures. See? So they sent this draft out to the politicians, and these politicians, they didn't like it. I'll give you some examples. Germany, they called for the reference to be deleted. Just delete it. Right? It was misleading, they said. Politicians, right, from Germany. We should focus on decades and centuries of temperatures. We can't talk about this period. Politicians from Hungary, they said, no, this is bad. We don't like this because this would provide ammunition for deniers of man-made climate change. Oh, they didn't like it because these deniers, they would be right, of course, if they published the report. They were made right. These deniers. We can't have this. Another example was people from, politicians from Belgium. They talked about 1998. No, you can't talk about 1998 because that was a warm year. You see, you can't compare to that year. You see, let's talk about back then. What was going on since then. Right? That we want a curve that is pointing upwards. You see, that's what they said from Belgium. Wow. I don't know what happened then, of course. I just don't know it. What was the actual final report from the IPCC? But it's like they are supposed to be scientists, right? And they make a report, but they ask the politicians if they like it or not before they publish it. Isn't that amazing? I thought it was. Yeah, it's an old story. I don't know what's going on now, today. I suppose they do the same. Before they publish a report, these so-called scientists, they sort of ask permission from the politicians. Amazing. Right, I also want to say this general stuff. Do you feel, I have a question for you. Do you feel that they are rushing it? These guys who wants to put all of us in cages. I feel they do. And maybe it's because of what's going on. Like, for instance, people are saying now, more and more people say that the enemy is media. Wow, what's that? Media is the enemy. What does that mean? And we see this development. And so how do they react to it? Well, they become desperate, right? Of course. So I feel they are rushing it. They want to get us into these cages, right? But earlier I thought they were more patient about it. It's like, you want to trap a rat. You put a piece of cheese there next to the cage and see, the rat is coming there. And then later you put a piece of cheese into the cage, right? And then you can trap the rat. But now it's more like they are, you know, they are screaming and shouting at the rat to get into the cage. And they are using batons and stuff, trying to scare it into the cage. See, this is how I feel about it. Yeah, I think they are in panic now. These guys want to trap. Right. Now, if they are not careful, the rat will get away. Absolutely. And I think it's happening, actually. Well, those of us who have eyes to see with, right? Lots of people getting into that cage happily. Yeah, of course. You want to give me a needle? Yeah, right. I will happily participate in this experiment. I will be a rat for you. These people, they just walk in there, right? But more and more of us are seeing the trap, right? All right. Be good.